Good morning, Knicks Nation. Today is Friday. It is Friday, the 28th day of June, 2024. Happy Friday. I hope you and your family are safe and healthy today and that the needs of you and your family in terms of food, shelter, clothing, as well as health are being met today. Blessings upon those that work in the healthcare field, along with the first responders who every day are saving lives. Blessings upon those also that pick up garbage to keep our places clean, and those that make deliveries for our convenience. Double blessings on the men and women that are out here trying to help rescue, deliver, and recover teenagers and children that are the victims of child molestation and pedophilia. People that are also victims of prostitution, child prostitution, pornography, child pornography, human trafficking, and sex slavery. Double curses on the perpetrators, double curses on the profiteers, and double curses on the perverts that create these industries. Finally, blessings upon the homeless. Nearly 600,000 men, women, and children homeless in the United States of America, including veterans, senior citizens, and families, and more around the world in even worse conditions. Blessings upon them, for theirs is the kingdom. Well, there's some business to take care of this morning that we got to talk about. First, let's get the easy stuff out the way, the draft. I have to apologize to the Knicks Nation. At the beginning of the spring, I said very clearly the Knicks don't need anybody. And anybody they picked wasn't going to play. Then I got caught up in the draft, like many of you, and started thinking, oh, Ryan Dunn's coming to the Knicks, maybe Khalil Ware-Holmes. Well, I picked these guys based on if the Knicks were going to make a first-round pick. Well, Khalil Ware was drafted in the lottery. I already knew that if there was a player that I liked in the lottery, we weren't going to get him because the Knicks, the Don ain't moving up. And I'll explain that in a second because some of y'all still ain't got that. I keep thinking he's going to move up to get somebody. Not now. Secondly, we talked about Edey. Edey went in the lottery, so that he's out. I like DaRon Holmes the best of all at 24. Denver made him a promise. Then they moved up in the draft and got him. I liked Ryan Dunn. Phoenix was the team that I thought, the only team that would take him aside from the Knicks because they lost Mikal Bridges in the Kevin Durant trade, and he would represent the defense they lost on the wing. From losing Mikal Bridges, they took him. Then I liked Osu Ighodaro. I kept saying Phoenix took him too. So there goes my draft. But one thing I said in the beginning, which I still stick to, none of these guys are going to play. And when you see the draft, I know people going to get, this is the thing, I don't like listening to the commentators from college on the draft because everybody's the best in their class at something. It's kind of ridiculous when you listen to him. Oh, he's the best in his class at playmaker. Oh, he's the best shooter in his class. Oh, it's a whole bunch of that. It's a bunch of hype, really. But when you look at it realistically, holistically, as compared to the league, you get a better view of what they can do. Pacome Dadiet is a young dude. He's a draft and stash player. I know he says he wants to come next year. He ain't. He's a draft and stash dude. He'll probably stay overseas this year. They're all gonna play summer league, and then he probably go back to wherever he was, Germany or someplace for a year. Maybe he stays in the G League, but he's not gonna play for like 2 or 3 seasons. He won't play. Maybe 2. I'll give him 2 seasons because he was picked in the first round. Tyler Kolek. A lot of people are all crazy about Tyler Kolek. I even heard one knucklehead talking about on CBS, I think. Oh, what they gonna do with Deuce McBride? This is what they're gonna do with Deuce McBride. They're gonna play him in the rotation for 20 minutes a game like they did last year and start whenever Brunson is out. Looks like they did last year. Tyler Kolek is 23 years old. Yes, he has a lot of TJ McConnell, but TJ McConnell is a polished NBA point guard right now. He wasn't like that when he was a rookie. Well, this boy is a rookie at 23. Let me tell you overall, just let me give you all some real here. Everybody picked in the second round. What the Knicks are doing is picking it and seeing what sticks to the wall. That's what they're doing for the end of the bench, seeing what sticks to the wall. Okay? Only guy for the future is the young French kid today. And like I said, I believe in their scouting department. He must be good because they wouldn't have drafted him. And they drafted him at age 18. He'll be 19 in July next month. So I'm giving a couple of years. And I like his size, 6'9". Right now, he's so young and raw. It's hard to see something for the future. I need to look at some more video of him, but I trust the Knicks. I trust their scouting. I trust, all of the guys in that office know what the heck they doing. So that's a couple years down the road. The rest of these cats, let's see what sticks to the wall. So Kolek is a nice point guard at Marquette. Okay, he's nice, but this is the league. He's not going to come in, and this is another thing. When every draft year, every year, somebody says, well, this guy's going to come in and go in Tom Thibodeau's rotation. Y'all understand he don't play rookies? And I keep hearing a couple from y'all like this. Listen to this. Well, he played quickly. He played Obi. Let me clarify something for y'all. Okay? Obi came in 2020. Quickly came in 2021. No. They both came in 2020. Let me explain something to you. 4 years ago, the Knicks were in rebuild. When you're in rebuild, even Tom Thibodeau will play some rookies. Let me give you a newsflash. Rebuild is over. It ended when they signed Jalen Brunson, but it really ended when they traded for OG Anunoby. Rebuild is over. Why? What does that mean? That means we're contending for the chip. Ain't no rookies playing. Not with Tom Thibodeau. And people bring up, well, what about Lively? Lively is an exception. Some of y'all got a habit of making the exception the rule. Lively's an exception. Okay? And he's good, but he played because he's on a rookie deal and they paying all their money to two players in Dallas. I don't even know how they're going to afford to bring back Derrick Jones, who they need to bring back. But they're going to be taxpayers. And they ain't won no chip, but they got to the finals, but they paying $80 million plus a year to two players. So I don't know, but that's their problem. That's why Lively played. All right. But that ain't New York. And that ain't Tom Thibodeau. And that ain't happening. So none of these cats are going to play. Okay. They may play in the G League. And if they make the roster, they can be practice players. And that's what I think they're really going to be worth. Practice. Call him Allen Iverson. Practice. That's what they can be worth. Kevin McCullar, whatever. 56. He's 23 years old. They're hoping again. These guys really, what they're trying to do, this is what they're trying to do. These guys right here, they're trying to replace Daquan Jeffries, right? They're trying to replace Jacob Toppin. They're trying to replace Diaki. That's what these guys are trying to do. This last guy, actually, to me, the most promising guy of the three that they picked in the second round, and by the way, the Don. Oh my God. The Don. He gave away, well, not gave away, but he purchased the services of Mikal Bridges for 6 picks, right? It was 4 unprotected number ones plus a protected Milwaukee's number one plus another swap plus a couple of second rounds. Well, homie already started going to work replenishing that cupboard. I mean, he had the first round pick, traded down, traded out, obtained 5 second round picks, then used picks and traded down, traded till he got these 4 guys dirt cheap. And some of y'all was laughing at me when I kept calling him Don Corleone. And some of y'all ain't laughing no more though. I'm telling you, this dude's a bad boy. So when I started, I knew they were going to trade out of one of them 24, 25. Well, he traded out of both of them. Anyway, that's the Don doing Don stuff. So the Knicks end up with, I think, 5 second round picks. And then they still end up with 2 at the end of the second round. So yeah, he ain't done yet either. I wouldn't be surprised if they got a first round pick in 2025 because 2025 class is supposed to be loaded. This class was a weak class. 2025 is supposed to be loaded. So I wouldn't be surprised if he ended up with a first rounder in that one also. But Ariel Hukporti, a 7-foot guy that played in the Australian League. He was actually born in Germany. 22 years old. And he's legit 22 years old. And 7 foot. I looked at a little clip of him, not much, but one thing I could tell you, the young boy's a roughneck, 7 feet tall, roughneck. Okay, so that's we're gonna see what happens. I want to see him in summer league. Of all of these guys, I'm looking this. I'm really excited to see him. And by the way, just as a aside, the last guy, many of y'all may not know, but the last guy every year that's picked in the NBA draft is called. There's a term. It's called Mr. Irrelevant. Mr. Irrelevant is a guy, the last guy picked, because most of the time he's not gonna make the league. But the Knicks did strike gold with Mr. Irrelevant with Jericho Sims. I mean, I don't know if he was the exact last guy, but he was definitely one of the 3 last picks in that draft. This guy, I'm not saying, you ain't got the second coming of Joker here, but you may have a useful guy for your rotation and of course, cheap at the center spot. He's 22. I think maybe a year in G League and let's see what he got. And that's what it is with all these guys. Let's see what they got. This is the league. Some people got all hyped, like Kolek especially killed me with all the people hyping. Oh, he's the point guard we need behind Jalen Brunson. Hell no. Deuce is the point guard behind Jalen Brunson. And y'all that's hating on Juice is the same knuckleheads that's hating on Drew Randall. Giving me all these Drew Randall trades. Listen, I'm not buying no Julius Randall trades. That's all BS. That's the next group of BS for the summer. Juju is starting at the 4 spot. Period. Now, let's move on to more important business. Hartenstein. This is the thing I want to bring to y'all about Hartenstein. Now, I'm really appreciative, and what's the better word for it? Impressed with the love people are showing Isaiah Hartenstein. That's supporting your players. That's really nice. I like that. But I love Isaiah Hartenstein, but let's be realistic. Let me just bring up a couple of points for y'all. Number one, let's talk about McCullar Bridges. How did the Knicks get McCullar Bridges? McCullar Bridges let it be known to his team. Now, he's got 2 years left on his contract. They ain't got to do nothing with him. He ain't up for no extension, nothing. And he came to his team and said, I want to play for the New York Knicks. He's on the Nets. And then they came to the Don and said, what you could do for us? And the Don pulled out the cupboard and said, boom, here you go with a whole bunch of picks. And let's make the money work with Bodega 44. Done. Now, there might be some other loose parts, as we know, to get that done, but that's what happened, basically. McCullar said, I want the Knicks. Number one. Number two, OG Anunoby. He could have waited until Sunday at 6 o'clock and see what offers he was going to get. And up to $245 million. That was, and from what Ian Begley reported, and Ian Begley's one of my guys, so I got to go with what he said. Somebody was going to offer him $245 million. 5 years, $245. I don't know who it is. I mean, we got our suspicions. Probably Philly, maybe, because they desperate. Philly's desperate. But OG came to the Knicks now. Like 4 days before Sunday. And signed $212, $33 million less than what he might have got Sunday. Okay? Because why? He wants New York. Why do I bring all that up? Hartenstein will be an unrestricted free agent on Sunday at 6 o'clock. He could sign a deal right now. They could agree in principle, and the Knicks would work it out in seconds. The 2 players they need to get rid of or whatever, they would put it this way. Whatever needed to happen to get him to $72 million today, it would get done. But I ain't heard Hartenstein say, I don't want no other team but the Knicks. See, that would make me think he might take the $72 million. Everybody's leaning on, well, he took a discount in the Clippers. Listen, that was 3 years ago. 3 years ago, he was talking about $7 million for a backup center. And the Knicks got him for 2 years, $8 million per. That was 3 years ago. Okay? Let's catch up to today. Today, we're talking about a starting center that somebody's going to offer $100 million. too. That's what we're talking about. That's why you ain't heard from him yet. If we don't get him signed by Saturday night, he's out. And I'm not blaming him. I'm not blaming him at all. Because you leave $28 million on the table? That's what we're talking about. A guaranteed extra $28 million. Now, with regard to the Clippers, you know, if they'd have offered him 7 or 6, he might have taken it. That's 3 years ago. We're not in the same stratosphere today. And the two teams that's interested in him, it ain't no Detroit. We talking about Orlando, who was top 6 in the East. And we talking about Oklahoma City, who was number 1 in the West. So he's going to go to a team that's competing. And they're going to offer him $100 million. Why do I keep bringing up $100 million? First of all, I can't believe it, but what it is. Got to be real. I wouldn't offer him no damn $100 million, but that's what it is. So the reason is Nick Claxton, who is the starting center on the Brooklyn Nets, who didn't make the playoffs, just got $100 million. That's how the NBA works. It's market driven. So the market for a starting center is $100 million right now. That's the market. Claxton is not as durable as Hartenstein. He ain't no roughneck. He's a very athletic 5. I love his game. I wouldn't mind having Claxton on my team. But Hartenstein's a roughneck. He's a playoff roughneck. And he's 25, 26, something like that. He's not even in his prime yet. Somebody going to offer him $100 million. And he's gone. If he wanted the Knicks and that was the only team he wanted, he would let that be known through his representation. I only want the Knicks. He would be telling everybody, I only want the Knicks. I'm only going to stay with the Knicks. Then you know what? Nobody would give him no offers because everybody knows he's signing with the Knicks and he'd get the $72 million. That would be the agreement. The Don's a man of his word. You going to stay with us? Here's your $72 million. But he ain't do that. He ain't come out his face and say that. He ain't make no demands to be with New York. That means he's waiting to see what if is this real? His agent saying, listen, you can get 90 million, 80 million, 100 million with Orlando. And he's like, really? So now he's waiting till Sunday. Because Sunday at 6 o'clock, either Oklahoma City and or Orlando are going to be faxing or emailing over a proposal for $100 million. And guess what? He ain't saying no. And again, I don't blame him. So that's what we're talking about. That's the real of the situation. I know everybody's like, can we work? I've been hearing this all yesterday. Can we work a miracle? Can they work? Listen, this is the thing. There's no miracle that can make 72 million, 100 million. There is no miracle that can make 72 million, 100 million. I know some of y'all don't want to hear that, but I'm trying to be real. And the reason I want to be real is because in my mind, and I believe in the Knicks management mind, have been watching the Don work for 4 years. You got to pivot. It's time to pivot. Pivot off of Hartenstein. Okay? So now you pivot and you say, okay, what is our other options? And again, when you're playing chess, not checkers, you got several moves you can make. Okay? Number one, we talked about it yesterday. First of all, I don't want to start Mitchell Robinson. I don't want to start. And yesterday I watched, in fact, I turned off the draft. It was so boring. And the Don making so many moves. I said, I'll wait till the dust settles at the end and come back and look at it. But I watched Mitchell Robinson on Roommates with Jalen Brunson and Josh Hart. And one thing come out of there in terms of serious, he was hurt. I mean, emotionally hurt that he'd been getting hurt. He said, this is getting old. And so I think the Knicks see that first, number one. So it's not like he's trying to slack off. He wants to play. So to me, to really utilize him for the season, you got to bring him in with Mobb Deep. You bring him in with Mobb Deep, and you're going to have a hellified defense on the second unit. And you can limit him, then you go now. So now your starting center going to play 28 minutes. And you give him, that's what they've been doing with him and Hartenstein before he got hurt anyway. So you bring him in for 18, 20 minutes and you bring whoever the starters, I was going to say Hartenstein, but you bring the starter in for 28 minutes. So you need a guy that can play 28 minutes. Now, yesterday, I talked about the best financial option. Financial is Jericho Sims. $2 million, and you ain't got to add nothing else to your roster, and you under the first apron with him. Done. That financially, that's a home run. And Jericho has worked his tail off. He has earned at least a shot at starting. Okay, he has earned that. So I would have no problem with them starting him and then re-signing Precious, and let's go on with life. We ain't got to work it. Now, if you want somebody that's more seasoned as a starter, there's Jonas Valanciunas. He's the best option, I think, in terms of size. Just his size alone. He's not mobile, but he is a roughneck. He does some rim protection. He's not elite at it, but because he's got enough of it though for a Tom Thibodeau defense. He's big enough to cause people to hesitate with the rest of them cats. OG, McCullar, and Juju out there around him. So he's good enough for that. Problem is the market, because now he's just coming off 15 million. He's 32. Now, generally, in a normal situation, he'd be talking about mid-level exception. Nobody's going to pay him top dollar. I don't know now, because he may exceed the mid-level exception. Then he's out of our stratosphere. The Knicks can't afford nothing above the mid-level exception, and we're trying to get below that if we can. So Valanciunas might cost us more than the Knicks would want to pay, for him. He's perfect to me at this stage. 32, you just need him to play 28 minutes, 27 minutes, and he's a roughneck. He could do that. He's tough enough. I like him in every area. He's not the elite rim protector, but he's good enough. So that's the problem, though. He may be more than 12.8 million. He might cost more than that, and the Knicks cannot pay more than that. Period. Otherwise, they keep Hartenstein, but they can't pay more than that. So there's that. Then there's Mo Wagner. Mo Wagner, the Orlando's got a club option for $8 million on him. Club option. Now, they have Wendell Carter Jr. starting. If they signed Hartenstein, Wendell Carter Jr. will become your second stringer. Mo Wagner will be out of the rotation. Okay, he'd be out of the rotation. So he's not also the greatest guy, but I like him enough to come in and play 28 minutes a game with the Knicks, and the Knicks could pay him $8 to $10 million a year. That's in our budget, and he'd be Hartenstein's situation 2 years ago. Okay, wanting to stay with the Magic, his brother's there, but business is business. And if they sign Hartenstein, that's the writing on the wall. Mo Wagner's out. So then he'd be available. So I like Valanciunas first. I like Mo Wagner second, if we had to leave our own stable and get a 5. I still like the best option to me is Sims with Precious, and you have those two cats. You start Sims, and somebody was, the Twitter universe can be really stupid and sophomoric sometimes. So some guy comes on my channel with a laugh. Sims starting? Like, what the hell's wrong with y'all? He has started. He started every year. At some point, he starts. It's always that he's thrown into the starting line because of injuries. But if you give him a training camp, you give him this, he knows the schemes. You let him run with OG, Juju, McCullar, and JB, and you let him get used to those guys, and you let him get comfortable starting from the training camp, I think he'd be very good. I'm not saying he'll be an all-star, but he'll do everything we need him to do. He'll be the roughneck. He'll be the rim protector. He will. Okay, he's not 7 feet tall, but we know the boy could leap out the building, right? So I would trust him. He's not the greatest, but like I said, we're not getting an all-star at the 5. We're not. Okay, we're not getting an all-NBA defender at the 5. Our all-NBA defender is Mitchell. He could come off the bench because we don't want him to get hurt. But our bench is going to be hellified. Mitchell, Hart, DiVincenzo, and Deuce. And then you add any of them other guys to it, and they're going to have something. But I think you stick with Sims, and you go with Precious as your 10th guy, and you go from there. Neither of them, Sims is $2 million. Precious ain't going to be more than $8. I'm going to tell you right now, he ain't. So that is that. If they let Precious go, you you could get somebody. That's what I'm saying. You could get somebody in that spot. I'd rather keep Precious, young 25, 24-year-old dude, knows how to play in the league, still got a lot of upside. I'd like to keep him if I can. So that's what I'm thinking. But to me, the leading candidates would be Valanciunas, depending on price, and Mo Wagner at this point. Some people mention Mo Bamba. I understand the love for Mo Bamba. He's from New York. I get it. But he is soft. That's why he's been bouncing from team to team. Why do you think he hasn't stuck with anybody? He's got talent. He's in the league. But he's soft, man. We need a roughneck. We need a roughneck, okay? Mo Bamba would be inspired because he's from New York and he loves the Garden. He would be inspired to play in New York. But I would rather have a tough roughneck. Mo Bamba, to me, is Mitchell Robinson. Like, in other words, he's going to get hurt. I don't think we want that. Okay, so, and yeah, he could shoot a three. We don't need our five. I know people have been talking this mess for years. We need a stretch five. No, we don't. We need a roughneck at the 5 spot. A guy that's going to bring fear into the hearts of anybody that think they coming down the lane. Mitch Robinson does that. And Hartenstein was doing that. Okay, we need a roughneck at the 5. So give me Valanciunas, Mo Wagner, or Jericho Sims. I'll take any of them. Okay? And Jericho Sims, no, he's not the highlight reel defender, but he's a Knick. He knows the system. He's worked his tail off. And I think he's going to add something to his game. I've seen some video of him working on his game. I think he's going to add a little floater like a Hartenstein, like a push shot to his game. If he does that, we good. We really are. We good. So let's time to pivot, because now if Hartenstein takes $72 million, oh my God, that'd be like Messiah walking on water. I'm trying to tell you, because he's going to leave $28 million on the table. I'm trying to tell you that ain't going to happen though. See, this is real money. This ain't Monopoly. And you may not get this opportunity again. And you got to secure your family bag. $28 million in my pocket if it's me. So I'm saying Hartenstein gone. If he don't sign by tomorrow night, he gone. I'm going to tell you right now. So that's it. And the only way he wouldn't be going is if somebody said, well, he's really not that good. We can't offer him more than $80 million. Well, if somebody does that, he's coming back to the Knicks. For $8 million, he's coming back to the Knicks. But I don't think so. I think Hartenstein's going to get 100. And if he does, he gone. And if he is gone, Mo Wagner's got a club option for $8 million. He's not going to want to stay there, because even though he likes playing with his little bro, he wants to play. And he'd be starting for the Knicks. So let's see what happens. But this is interesting. The Knicks are ready. It's time to pivot, but we try and get this chip this year. So let's be real. Y'all enjoy your weekend. We'll talk soon. Shalom.